Hello, YouTube pipers. Double O Pipe here, aka Rick. I have my Peterson. You would think I would know off the top of my head what it is. Phoenix, which I have been smoking a lot lately since I don't have my Bing's favorite. And in it, I'm still packing Wall Street 1928. That is a special mixture done up by Paladin Piper. And it's good. I like it a lot. I've been smoking this more than I smoke anything else. I think twice a day usually it's one right after the other. Twice a day I'll pack this thing and light it up. Yep, it's a good smoke, and I appreciate it, Pat. You done good. I had the ingredients you talked about, and I went right back there and mixed my own 50-50. Of course, now, when I look at it, mine's a little darker than your mixture there, so I wonder about that 50-50 bit. Not so much from your place, but from mine. Maybe my 50-50 is different from your 50-50. I don't know. I've been, well, let's try and keep this lit so we can chat. Somebody asked me how many of these Dina Cools do I put in the bottom of my bowl. And I've been meaning to tell you, but I just keep forgetting. I don't know if you can see this or not. Anyway, I have 4 to 5 little crystals here that I pour into my palm. That's about the size. And I just drop those in the bottom. And then I put in the tobacco on top of that. And it seems to help with the tongue bite, so give it a try. I got mine 2 boxes for, excuse me, I don't remember how much. It wasn't very expensive. And it came in the mail within a couple of days. Beverage. But anyway, it's worth the money. Need to practice. Well, I was digging around in my computer and I came across one year about 15 years ago. I don't know if y'all have heard of NaNoWriMo or not, but it's a month challenge in November to write 50,000 words in novel format. Well, I took that challenge 15 years ago. It's been stuck in my computer for I don't know how long. I forgot everything about it. But here it is. I printed it out. 160 pages. I printed out. And recently I've been getting up in the mornings and typing certain things that come to mind, whether it's memories or trying to describe what life was back in those days or just wild imaginations. But I printed that up. Came out 55 pages so far. So I've been busy with the writing. Been busy with trying to read that novel I wrote 15 years ago. I don't think it would sell. Oh, Lord. It's not making a whole lot of sense. I guess I don't make a whole lot of sense most of the time. But anyway, I've been thinking about Clyde a lot. And I know back when I started first grade, because I was living with Grandma and Granddaddy and Clyde Monday through Friday every week, starting after I was 5 years old. And grandparents pretty much left us to ourselves. There wasn't a whole lot of guidance in what we did. Clyde had his own way of doing things and his own thoughts on things. Him being 9, me being 5. I always looked up to him. Anyway, when I turned 6, I started grammar school that year. And Clyde, Granddaddy worked, Grandmama worked. She worked at the YMCA. She worked behind the counter of the snack area. She would cook hamburgers and the like for the people who were living at the Y. Granddaddy was a carpenter. He built that house they were living in, so he was obviously a good carpenter. But that first day, we were left on our own when they went to work, and we had to get to school. Well, all dressed and all ready except for my shoes. And I was sitting down there. Clyde had shown me a while back how to tie them, but we always ran around barefoot, so I had forgotten how to tie them. And I was sitting down there on my bottom trying to tie those shoes, and Clyde said, "Come on, Neff, we got to go. We got to get to school. I got some friends I got to meet." I said, "Well, I can't get these shoes tied." He said, "I showed you how to do that." I said, "I know it, but I can't get them tied. It's been a long time since you showed me." "Oh, Neff," he said, "here, gimme." I just took my hands away from the laces, and he said, "You take them like this. You make one stretch across there like that, one under the other. Then you take one and make it into a loop. Then you pull this one around there and take a little tiny loop through that area there and just pull it apart like that. And you got 2 loops, and your shoes are tied. What's so hard?" Well, I sat down there, and another 5 minutes, I still couldn't get it done. And he said, "Neff, I'll show you one more time." He did it again, explaining what he was doing. And I said, "Well, you going to take it apart so I can try again?" He said, "No, it's tied now. We going." Okay, we going. Our school wasn't that far away, and we used to walk. We'd walk across the yards, get to the golf course, which was right there at the end of the road, and walk across the golf course. And the four corners of this particular road crossing, the golf course was on each corner. So walking across the golf course meant walking across the golf course, across the road and across the golf course. And the school was about 3 blocks away at the end of the golf course there. I said, Clyde, I'm scared. I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. He said, you got to, Neff. There's no way around it. I said, I'm scared. I've never done this. He said, well, it ain't nothing to be scared about. You're going to like it. You got kids your age. You're going to make friends. I said, you weren't scared? He said, no, I wasn't scared. He said, when I got to that school, I walked right up to that brick wall that made up the school itself, and I just went, tooey, and spat on it. He said, you know what? I said, what? He said, that school just jumped back because it knew I'm in business. I was the boss here. Well, I said, you really did that? He said, yeah, you can check it. You can look at the foundation when you get there. You can see where it backed up a foot. Well, I knew Clyde wouldn't lie to me. So I said, you reckon I could do that? He said, nah, you ain't got the gumption. You ain't got the spit. So I got determined. I said, I'm going to do that same thing, and I'm going to watch that thing back up for me, too. I'm going to be just like you. He just laughed. He said, yeah, you try it. So we got to the back gate. It was just a big old cyclone fence, real high, about 8 foot. There was no doorway. It was just a gate without a swinging gate. We walked through it. It's all sand, and you'd walk up, sand over here, and they had some asphalt over there where they had the tennis court and the basketball court over there. And there was a baseball field over here with some telephone poles, 4 telephone poles with wire across it to stop any foul balls from hitting any spectators behind that. And there it was. A humongous, to a little short guy like me, a humongous 2-story red brick schoolhouse. And I was determined. I just got myself, and I just walked, didn't listen to anybody, didn't look at the other kids, walked right up to that wall. I had been saving spit for forever. Got there, and I went, and I said, that's what you get. I'm not taking any hogwash from you. I'm in charge. And I stood there. That building didn't make a noise. That building didn't move. And I looked over at Clyde. And the teacher came over and said, hey, boy, what you spit on that waffle? I said, bah. Clyde came over and said, let me talk to your teacher about him. He said he's my nephew, and he's pretty slow. He can't even tie his shoes. He tripped over his own feet this morning. And while he was talking to that teacher, I took off running. Sure enough, I tripped over my feet because my shoelaces had come undone. And I slammed onto the ground. I sat up and I looked over at him. And I said, can't tie my shoelaces, huh? because I had heard what he said to the teacher. And the teacher was going, shaking his head like, okay, I understand now. So I sat there, did one, did the other, looked at Clyde and went, and the teacher looked at Clyde and he said, you said he couldn't tie his own shoelaces. Looked like he did a pretty good job there. And Clyde just looked at me and he said, yeah, I guess I taught him better than I thought I did. Oh, me. Well, we went through all our classes. And he had already left because I knew the way home now, and there were other kids going that way. Because before, when I spat on that wall, I didn't have time to look down and see the foundation that's moved. Because Clyde let it know who was boss. I walked over there and I studied it. And somebody came over and said, what you doing, boy? I said, I thought the foundation was supposed to be over this way, but there's nothing showing that this wall has ever moved. He said, what are you talking about? Are you daft? I said, no, I'm not. And I turned around and walked back through the gate and went home. I caught up with my friends that lived on the same street as Clyde did. And we walked back across the golf course, across the crossroads, across the golf course, and down the street, back home. Anyway, so much for memory and wondering what's memory and what ain't. But I'm telling you, that'd be what Clyde would do. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But that's what came out when I was writing one morning. So I'm going to take it as true. Oh, me. Well, it's been taking these things 24 hours to go from here to YouTube, so I'll go ahead and get it started. Excuse me. So it might be up by tomorrow sometime. Today's Friday. I hope everybody's going to have a good weekend. We're up for rain, and I'm kind of looking forward to it this time because I've got that new sump pump, and I don't know if it's working because it hadn't rained enough to see. But we're supposed to have rain for the next 3 days. I'll let you know. All right, everybody. Thanks for having a pipe with me. Maybe a beverage. I'm just spending a few minutes listening to me telling you something that's all true. Give or take a lie or two. But just remember, memory and imagination kind of go hand in hand. And knowing Clyde, I'm sure. Take care of yourselves. I wish I knew where to look on this to see where I could try and see where you are, but take care. God bless you. Till the next time. Bye-bye.